216. I am your course facilitator, Nihad Goni, and this is Unit 6, Session 3, the types, form, planning and execution of curriculum change and innovation. In this session, we shall look at the types, the planning, and also the execution of curriculum change. By the end of this session, you should be able to 1. Distinguish between the two types of change. 2. Explain the various forms of change. 3. State the change and innovation processes. 4. State the factors involved in planning and executing change. And 5. State the elements that should be considered in planning innovation. Now let us look at the types of changes. Change can mainly be categorized into two types, the hardware types and the software types. The hardware types are those changes that are introduced by additions to facilities such as new classrooms, equipment, books, and playgrounds. Those hardware types are those we can actually touch with our hands, the tangible types. But then the software types are those that affect the content and range of the curriculum itself. They may be related to methods of delivery recommended by curriculum initiators, designers, and development. The software ones are the intangible changes that we make, and so it affects how you might deliver a lesson, probably the ideas about the curriculum that should be effected. So that makes up the software types. A change can come in different forms. Let us look at some of them. First, substitution. In this change, one element replaces another which was previously in use. And so the new change or innovation becomes what? A substitute. Examples include introducing new textbooks and new equipment, or replacing teachers and administrators. Then, the alteration. For the alteration form, it involves change in existing structures rather than the complete replacement of the whole curriculum, syllabus, or course of study. That is, the new change coming in is going to change some aspects, but not the whole body itself. Thirdly, addition. A change can come in the form of addition by the introduction of a new component without changing old elements or patterns. What will happen is that the change or the new innovation will just add up to the old patterns or elements. New elements are added to the existing program without seriously disturbing the main structure and content of the prescribed curriculum. These could be support input, such as using audiovisual aids, workshops, and equipment for an addition to the curriculum. And finally, a change can be in the form of a restructuring process, where there will be a rearrangement of the curriculum in order to implement desired changes. It may also involve sharing of resources among a group of schools or institutions. The resources could be equipment, textbooks, or even the personnel, the teaching personnel or the staff or administrators that will be repositioned, structuring the whole system again. That is how a change can also come in that form. Change does not happen like a miracle. It has to be planned and go through an execution. And so, for change to be implemented, a process has to be taken into consideration. According to Bishop, some factors that affect planning and the execution of change are 1. The change agent. The change agents include the teachers, the school heads, the local authorities, or the Ministry of Education. What the agent does is to initiate the innovation or curriculum change in general. Then, the innovation. This involves executing the change itself. That means putting the innovation to use or to operation. It is another factor to consider when planning and executing a change. Then, the user system. It relates to the person or the group of people at which the innovation is directed to. So those who be using the innovation or those who the innovation is directed to also affect how we plan and execute the change. And then basically time. Innovation is a social process which takes place over a period of time, and time is an important factor for a planning and executing. But always remember that all these factors interact with change itself and are changed by each other during the process of innovation. The innovation process. We know that innovation takes place through several steps. And for change to not be a miracle, which it isn't, it goes through processes and to plan it out. And so let us look at some general steps to follow when making innovation and change. First, identification of the problem, the satisfaction or need that requires attention. That is, without a problem, there is no solution or innovation. And so the very first step in the innovation process is to find out the problem, the challenge, the need, the dissatisfaction that will require the attention. Secondly, then you generate possible solutions to the identified problem or need. After that, you select a particular solution or the innovation that has been identified as the most appropriate. You look through all the possible solutions you have gathered and then select one that you think is most appropriate. Then you conduct a trial. Let it go through the trials and the field trial to see how suitable it is and to make several adjustments to make it very effective when it comes out. Then you evaluate the proposed solution. You assess it and check whether it is really appropriate for the process. After that, you review the evaluation. And then, if the innovation has solved the identified problem in your first step, then you implement it on a wide scale. After that, it can be adopted and institutionalized to another solution or for another solution. The innovation planning. Effective planning for innovation cannot take place unless some elements are considered in the process of the innovation. First, the personnel to be employed for the innovation to take place. Secondly, the specification of the actual task at hand. Then, the strategy or procedure to be used to undertake the task. Also, the equipment needed. Then, the buildings and conducive environment for the innovation to take place. Then, the cost involved in bringing out the innovation. Then, the social context in which the innovation will be used. The time involved for the innovation process. Then, the sequencing of our activities. Which order are we going to follow? How are we preparing our activity lineup for the innovation process? Also, the rationale for undertaking the innovation. Why is this innovation actually being taken? Also, evaluating the effect of the innovation, the good and the bad effects. What is it going to do to the users, to the environment, to the society itself? We evaluate that. It's another element to look at when planning an innovation. Self-help question. Distinguish between the two types of change. 2. Explain the various forms of change. 3. State 5 of the change and innovation processes in a logical manner. And 4. State the factors involved in planning and executing change. And finally, effective planning for innovation cannot take place unless some elements are considered in the process. Name 5 of them. We have come to the end of this session. In this session, we looked at the two types of change. We identified the hardware type and the software type. We also look at the forms of change, which could be an addition, a restructuring, an alteration, or a substitution. We furthermore went into the planning and executing change, where we identified some factors to be considered when planning and executing a change. They include the user, the innovation, among others. And then we looked at the innovation process itself and its planning. I hope you learned a lot in this session. I'll see you in our next session. Until then, bye and thank you.